I'm so ready to like go full bore into this,
Yes.
but also I just need to remind myself like stop cackling. Like I'm so
You're
excited
fine.
and happy about it, but also be like, no, lock in. He's worried.
Oh gosh, I'm coughing. We are rolling into this post-show chat immediately after finishing our last recording. Hello, Andrea, back again.
Hello.
We're going to be talking about the first play session of your quest as Rumor Pine Frill. How you feeling about things?
I'm still freaking hung up on the fact that it's Jennifer Coolidge, Mountain Grandma. That has just absolutely just rocked my world. I'm excited. I'm really, really excited. I love like how small the setting is and how like evocative it is. And also, I don't know if it's going to be funny to anybody besides myself and yourself, but like the like walking past all the clues and then walking back out as if nothing has happened is so funny.
I love that. I think that's so funny. There are like little, and it's I think it's also a very good reminder to GMs out there that like you have to accept when people don't look at the thing that you were prepared for. Like when you were walking into the front door of the Pine and Brine, I was fully prepared to explain like, oh yeah, this is the Pine and Brine. There's like a sign and it's like pine, made of pine, and it looks like, you know, the river because it's the brine.
Aww.
And you know, Brunt did a lot of exploring on the Salton Sea and like blah 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 blah. That's why it's called this. And also, hey, look, there's an ice house. And hey, look, there's a wagon right there. And I was like, well, no, you're just walking in. And you wouldn't pause to stop in and take all these things in. And all of that stuff came out more naturally than if I just, you know, had written it all out as like, and this is the script I'm going to stick to.
Yeah.
So just like,
that's commitment, Ty. I really appreciate that too, because it just allows like the moment to be like you start having the usual suspects ending, or like wait that oh god damn it, like there's guys are so everywhere. All right,
all the clues,
which is great.
Yeah.
Wow. Stars and wishes.
Oh yeah, let's do stars and wishes. Anybody that's listened to the most recent quest on SEQ, I don't think there's anything else that's going to be coming out between these, but the one with Fiona, we did Stars and Wishes after every episode. And for folks that don't know what Stars and Wishes are, it's basically star is something that you liked in the session. And then a wish is something that you would like to see happen in the future. It's just a nice positive way to unpack everything and whatnot. So when you're doing this, I feel like you and I are probably going to end up hitting a few things. But when you're doing this at home, you know, usually people will only do like one thing of each. But, you know, we don't have to stick to that. I will start with saying a star is that I just really enjoyed getting together and playing this. I'm really glad that we were able to do this.
Yeah.
And a wish, I really am looking forward to, I really hope we're able to like, you know, meet up again, play the next time and everything. Yeah.
Oh God, can you imagine?
If we weren't.
Like, well, poor
and
Brunt.
now we're done. Goodbye, Brunt.
Rumor went home.
Yep.
Like Rumor is done. Yeah, no, freaking hell. You and I have had a lot of conversations on said channel of feelings in our DM Discord server about like the feelings that arise after RPGs, and you know, it's a lot of times they're not super intense, but it's just a nice aspect of like kind of like thanking your host, especially for the DM, because like, you know, I feel like with players there's a lot of like, oh, you did that thing, it was so cool, it was so sick, and thank you to the GM, but like I think as personally as a player and as a GM, nothing lights my fire more than someone saying something specific I did, just to know that they were paying attention.
Yeah.
So when I run games, I really like doing that to players at the end, being like, that thing you did, I was totally expecting you to do something else, and this was such the great idea, or like that was really sick. Like it just makes people feel like seen and heard if they're not already doing that at the table. There's like a kind of like aftercare kind of aspect, especially if you're doing like an intense scene.
Yeah.
There so again, I mentioned it during the episode, but like so many stars for like just the setup here. Like it's cold, it's a locked room, there's clues everywhere, but you can also miss them. There's just a lot of texture to this world immediately evident with not a lot, like you're using a light hand, but there's like depth there. There's just enough there, but it's very colorful. So like so many things for me to grab onto, so many things for me to immediately like care about early doors. I love that.
Speaking of like, you know, things to care about, I will give you a star here. The way that you just were like, oh, I know Baba. I've met Baba before. All right, cool. Since I've known them, I'm definitely going to ask about their family. And I'm not going to say random family, you know, Ty, supply all of this. I'm going to say your child, right? And I think that implies a certain level of trust where if I needed Baba to be like, you know, to not have any kids or anything, I think that you trust that I would have, you know, made it a thing. But you saw the space, the role play narrative space, and you took that in a rich and textured way, which I liked.
Oh, thank you. Ah, man, I'm here to play with NPCs. Heck but yeah, if I ever do something where like, yeah, so your husband, you're like, the husband's dead. Never mind. Like, let me know. We don't need to go that far. Star like weaving in a Duststone Hound. Love it. Man. Nice callback.
Oh man.
Poor sweet baby Peppercorn. I hope they have a wonderful long life wherever they are and never have to go back home to these awful people.
I was going to have the Duststone Hound. I really thought about like, oh, that's going to be the opening. That's going to be what Rumor is delivering when he is interrupted on this journey, and he's going to have the whole time. And Sam said, my wife Sam told me when I explained this to her, she was like, if you do that, that's going to be what the whole quest is. It's going to be, you are not going to be able to put this dog in danger. And if anything happens to Rumor and they are not able to finish delivering this dog, that's going to be it eliminates the stakes, because you know that like you're not going to hurt the dog, and thus like the audience will pick up on that.
Sam is a wise person.
Yes, and she was totally right. But I'm very glad that I was able to put that in, because I had that image of the like Bjorn and the big paws, and I was just like, I can't I need to get that out of my head.
Oh, it's so great. It's so great too, because like Rumor's got a big heart and like really loves caring for people. So like absolutely like hanging out with this poor emotionally neglected dog.
Yeah.
and like for the folks who follow the show and know the lore, like they're monster hunting dogs, right? Like there's that. So that immediately was like, oh, cool. There's monsters in their hills, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, this is a, you know, as what's her name? Fiona, in her character creation, she had to come up with a rumor, as you do. Not a rumor pine frill, but like a rumor, a tall tale that she has heard, her character has heard. And the thing she came up with was that there are, have been monsters coming, like big beasts coming from up north. And why would she have heard that? Well, because Syrah was hired to like send a dog up there, and when he got the explanation for why, it's because blah blah blah. So like you see where I'm going with that.
I hear you. I mean, it's also been canonically like a year since Congress withdrew all the Lumineer service, so
roughly, yeah.
I think that's also in the back of my head been contributing to Rumor's like fatigue.
Yeah.
Because like this is a guy who's getting ready to retire, and suddenly they're all called out because like there's no more regular mail and it's dangerous and there's rumors of skeletons. So
and the presence. So at this point in the world, it is known that there are definitely walking skeletons. It has passed the point of rumor, tall tale, whatever. It is a known thing that this has that these like necromantic beings have been popping up around. This is a factual thing that's happening. And it's been about, like you said, 6 months to a year since Fair's Quest. And at the end of Fair's Quest, that is around the time that the Lumineers began like really actively hammering home, being focused on that as a problem and a problem that they're trying to address. And with them focusing on that, they have stopped focusing on their charitable work in the brothers. They're no longer you no longer have as we saw with Brother Amar in like episode 46. He used to be a journeyman, like one of these journeyman delivery people, where he would travel around, deliver mail in the brothers on horseback, and would do healing magic for people when they needed it, would just help out in it whatever way he could. And then he gets called down south to like investigate that stuff. Completely abandons his duties up in the brothers. And
that's how charity is, not reliable.
So now you, a person who previously was just kind of like filling in those gaps, the pressure is much higher because it's all gap.
It's all got, yeah. There's definitely like if it's been going on long enough, there's been definitely conversation among folk of like, okay, we had apprentices that we were training. Like, do we racket that up? Also, it's more dangerous. We don't want to like send people out and they'll get, screwed up in a mudslide. I listened to that episode with him and was thinking like, would Rumor have met that guy? Or like, what would he have thought?
Probably. Right?
Yeah. I
maybe.
Think, or like heard tell, because everyone talks, right? Everyone talks to everyone else. I think his reputation, at least with Rumor, would be like, oh yeah, that certain fella.
Yeah.
He was real certain about a lot of stuff.
Yeah. That seems about right. Boy, yeah. It's also to that note, it's just been fun playing with somebody who has so recently like listened through so much of the show, because I really enjoy, as you've heard with Josh and with Fiona, I really love crafting a story that works for somebody that hasn't listened and hasn't played. Or I like crafting a story that makes sense to new listeners, and having a player who is also new to this world ensures that I will do that, right? Yet it is so cool seeing you like weave in your own like references to the show. Yay. That's been a really big highlight so far, seeing like this acknowledgement of the world.
Oh, well, the world is so great and so like multi-layered. And I haven't, to be totally transparent, I haven't listened to all of it, and I'm working my way in a weird piecemeal fashion, but it's very funny to see like all the different ways that people interact with this world. And the way that they and I'm really excited, I guess, as a start to explore the brothers area. Yeah. Like I feel like there's been a lot, we've talked about this, there's been a lot in like Cirque and Mount Rena and other folk, but like small towns are so evocative, and we're near the wall, which is also really cool.
When you're on the wallward side of the mountains, which is the side of the mountains that is towards the wall, you can like, I believe you're close enough that you can see the wall, right? Like it is visible to you, and you can probably also see as like the sun is, it would be setting, I guess. As the sun is setting, you can see the shadow of the wall stretching out over the valley, right? And that's got to be a wild thing to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I was, Sloan, our friend Sloan from the DM server.
Yes.
She's brilliant. She's a game designer. She's working on a wizarding game, just all around cool person. But I was talking to her about this character, and she was like, what is the hill that your character would die on?
Great question.
Like, but make it small. Like make it like, if you got a beer with this person and like talk to them long enough, you'll be like, oh, they're pretty normal. And then you're like, oh, wow, they're just a little freak about this. And I was thinking about it. I was like, I think Rumor really believes in ghosts. I think like he's got a whole theory about what ghosts are and where they are. And given his whole like past and regrets and all that, like, so my assignment for the next month or whatever is going to be like, what seeing a skeleton, like what is he gonna do, and like how is he gonna react to that? Also, it's gonna be like, I can't deal with this right now, I have to go find my friend.
Yeah.
they're off in this other area.
I mean, I'll tell you right now that like this skeleton, you did not need to find this person to solve this quest, solve in quotes, right? It's not like it's unrelated, but it's also like not a requirement. So yeah. Boy, okay. I was trying to tell you something interesting, and then I was like, I can't really elaborate on this in a way that makes sense without spoiling things.
I just so like when we're done, I'm gonna be so curious to be like, so if I hadn't investigated, not that I would, obviously there's a noise coming from the ice house, but if I hadn't investigated the ice house, would it have been like, well, guess you're not gonna meet skeleton robe guy.
Who knows?
Girl, person, we don't know. Thank you for getting the dog out of the way. That absolutely would have been like a huge hindrance and a huge like worry. Because I newly reckless Ty. My mark is newly reckless and haunted by regrets. I'm not endangering a dog. It's just not gonna happen. And wishes, I really want to, man. You can talk a big game as somebody who loves games and who GMs about like embracing the story that the dice are going to tell. But when those twos are looking at you over and over again from your dice, it's really hard to actually like accept that. But I really want to lean into that. I want to like see where the story is going to go. I want to make some hard choices. I don't know. He might end up just falling on his ass and snowballing all the way down the mountain, and that will be the story. But he'll be very serious about it the entire time.
I was trying to do something this go around to be more conscious of allowing you to roll for. Some people give the advice of like never gatekeep information behind a roll, right? And I was trying to be conscious of having you roll for information, but always having a plan for like, all right, there's going to be enough, you will get enough information to continue forward. The situation, you're not going to like, oh, you failed a roll. Well, now we have to ignore that failure because because you really need to know this thing. It's like, no, the information is like, you will one of the things was you get part of the information. You don't get all of it. You don't get like the bonus thing that would give you specific direction. Or you get this information, you understand what's going on here. Your character doesn't yet. Your character will piece it together later, but like they don't piece it together right now.
That was fun. GM, like watching you GM that of being like, okay, the delay, absolutely. It makes sense. Be prudent. Don't go out into the wet and wild. You've missed all this information. It just does mean, though, that by the time that he puts it together, he's going to be even more frantic and even more reckless and going outside and being like, oh, shit, everything is really bad. So that's great.
And I will say there is different stuff that you're going to encounter because you made the decision to leave in the morning instead of at night. There will be consequences for that. They're not all bad, right? But they are significant.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, but like that's the only choice. He has kids. Like this is the only he's got to like he has responsibilities. Like he's a lizard. He's not going to like dive into unless he hears someone screaming bloody murder out in the wilds. Like it's just not going to put it together. I mean, if somebody was screaming, then he would run out. Like he would absolutely do that. But if it's just socks on the ground,
I have a question for you. A wish for me is I really want to make sure that I give you opportunities to use the moves that you have, the special abilities that you have. And there's one that almost came up this session, and I wasn't sure if you remembered it.
The Mind Palace Ruins?
No. Well, yes, but no. Flight or flight. So that move, I don't remember the exact text of it, but it basically means that like you are always able to avoid harm. You're always able to like, avoid a violent situation without getting hurt. If you've pulled it up and want to read that, feel free.
So it's flight or flight. If someone tries to attack you, you are always able to avoid harm. You never attack anyone else. If you ever do attack someone else, then you'll be harmed or captured. afterwards replace this special ability with another one, or strike out this ability and gain 1 dot in 2 relevant actions. So that's specifically like the cold can hurt me.
Yeah.
Like,
But
they can hurt me, they can inconvenience me, they can entrap me. There's lots of things that can happen to me that's not just a direct attack.
Yes.
But
wait,
was like Jennifer Coolidge going to pull something?
No. The thing that the way that this could have come up is that you took a poker to the Skelly, and I didn't know if like. So here's my question for you.
Was thinking about that.
You were thinking about that. Okay.
I was yeah.
If there's ever a situation where you go to attack someone and you don't explicitly mention this move, do you want me to warn you that you're about to like, transgress this move and thus sacrifice it?
Yes, I do. Specifically because if I really want it to be a choice.
I hope I remember this question.
Well, we'll see.
Future. Yeah, I will try, but yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna. You got a lot on your mind. Yeah, like it's more like if I oops it, it feels. I mean, unless that's really funny.
Yeah.
I don't think the chances are that it will be. I think like the fact that I want it to be more of a choice, and so if it's like, oh, if I like, jump up and down on this bridge, and like it's the bridge is actually a sentient bridge, and like you've actually attacked, be like, oh, okay, well, I guess that all right, I'll take whatever other option I like. Yeah.
Because it came up in my mind with this because when you took out the poker, I assumed that you were just doing that as like, intimidation factor, kind of like scaring this person off, whoever or whatever was in this thing, right, in the ice house. But I also thought, I was like, well, I don't want to break I don't want to break the flow of the podcast by like warning you about this. But if you do go to swing at this guy, or this person, if you do go to swing at them, then I'll need to like let you know, like, hey, just so you know, you're about to sacrifice flight or flight.
Yeah, I with the poker, I was thinking about that.
Okay.
To be fair, but I appreciate like that we're having like a check-in about this too, which is always good to do. I think like just having a tool in hand is also good. Like usually you just want to stick for distance or for like opening the
Prodding
door.
Open the door.
Like,
I liked that.
Being like, hey, bud, there's like eat the food and go away. Like the spider under a glass method, right? Like you usually want like a thing with you. But yeah, like Rimmer doesn't want to like kill an animal or like this is a guy with what, like 0 in Throwdown? Listens to Brent's story, like probably is like better at fighting than I am. Like, like there's no, how do you throw a punch without breaking your whole goddamn hand? Like doesn't know how to begin to do that.
Yeah.
Right. I don't, but yeah, no, like, I mean, like if Skelly so-and-so stranger, unknown quantity runs at Baba, like trying to cave her head in, I'll burn flight or flight. Like, I don't even know. I mean, I guess it could get ambiguous of like, if you're trying to insert yourself into a place, like, is that actually like attacking someone? I don't know, but
it's hard to say.
We'll see. I mean, also like, what is an attack? Is it like
an emotional attack?
Yeah, exactly. Or like, you describe somebody's perfect, like, situation that they'd absolutely go for. Like, oh, I feel attacked, like that.
I do like, I think that this move does open up some conversation, and I am all about having those conversations. One of the things that I tried to do when thinking about this game was I think people enjoy trying to figure out how to stretch a move that they have, like a spell in D&D. They like figuring out like, how can I make shape water benefit me in this conversation? Can that give me advantage in this whatever?
Yeah.
And when I was thinking about designing this game, like I was trying to create those scenarios where like a GM and player can like negotiate, and I think there's fun there.
Yeah.
So
I was very curious, and you don't have to go into this if it ends up in spoiler territory, but how this particular rule was interacting with your game planning, because I mean that's huge to like bind your hand that way of like.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that it did affect the sorts of challenges that I could plan for, there is still like, I'm trying to think of the way to phrase this that doesn't spoil things for you, or give you like, you know, meta information that you'll have to work around. I had to think about, my brain has kind of collapsed. I can't think of a good answer for that right now. It definitely was a thing that affected my planning. I will tell you that. I will give you more information as I can.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. It's kind of one of those things that like I always just take for granted in planning games. Oh yeah.
When I wrote this move, I thought of like regardless of planning this particular quest, I made myself think of ways that I could have this move be around in a violent quest, in a quest where like violence is a central thing that is happening. So what that means is like, you are not necessarily safe from like violence being a thing happening just because you've taken this move. I want to give you opportunities where because of this move, you are able to avoid violence. This move is, if what this move says is like, oh, you've taken this move? All right, cool. I'm never going to have anybody attack you. Well, that's not fun. Then you never get to use the move.
Yeah, that's true.
When this move happens, it means that there will definitely be opportunities for someone or something to attack you at some point, because I want you to have the chance to use this move.
Okay, I love that.
Alternatively, maybe I'm going to set up situations where you will really, really, really want to attack someone else, and this move will make you question, should I? Because if I do, then I'm making myself vulnerable. So like,
do I choose violence? Literally. Yeah.
So this is a move for people that want to have close calls with violence, or for people that want to create drama when they choose violence. Do you know what I mean? Oh,
yeah. 100%. This is the creative thinking catch-up, right? This is have you seen Children of Men?
No.
Oh, okay. Older movie about post-apocalyptic situation where children stop being born. And there is a man who Clive Owen is the hero, and he is running around. He's tasked with escorting like one of the last only / pregnant women to safety in this like fascist nightmare. And I believe like violence is a huge part of this world. It's a very violent world. There's like artillery going off, you know, people are absolutely like, people die in like very sad ways. Guy doesn't pick up a gun. Like at one point he like knocks somebody out who's running at him by just opening his car door into their face.
Rad.
Like it's very nonviolent from him the entire way through. And it's such a really interesting choice of like what he's doing.
That's great.
Like, yeah. I mean, I don't know if I'd recommend watching it these days, but it's a good movie.
Cool.
Yeah. Oh God.
Well, we've been...
No, I'm curious if I'll keep this up the entire time. We'll see. Or maybe I'll turn into a giant crab. Okay. You okay?
Yeah. That just made me laugh. And then I got a piece of apple stuck in my throat. So we've been chatting for about 30 minutes in this little post-show chat. Is there anything else that we should highlight before we call it?
Wishes and stars.
Did I give a wish and a star?
And in the beginning that like it's been fun to play with me, and you want to keep doing it, I think.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, like that's
my sort of icebreaker ones. I'm trying to think if I have anything that's like more specific.
Okay, so you know my background with games and like not with podcasting. I want to be very conscious of like pacing for this format compared to say like a game where we're at a table and like no one's listening. But I also like, I'm not used to that. So I'm curious. So if there's moments where I like, you know, like, no, cut it and move on. Like I kind of want to be more conscious of that. Like stop embroidering.
Gotcha.
But
hasn't been an issue yet. I feel like so far I've been enjoying your, this is Oh, I referenced the star earlier. The idea that you have seemed like you have known when to embellish. You have taken the space where it makes sense to take space. It has worked very well and felt very easy.
Oh, thank you. I love the little flourishes of the spell on the door.
Yeah.
In a mountain inn, like, oh no, I'm worried for my friend Justice. I must rush out, but first, let me leave a fancy ass message on his door.
I loved, in the character creation, we talked about him being a person with like, I don't remember the exact tags I gave him, but it's like, flourishes and like big showy in both arcane and mundane ways. And so I'm like, all right, well, I was going to be like, oh, he writes a note on the door. And I was like, you know what? No. This is a showy person. This is a person that's like really doing a thing. He's made like this arcane ink or something that he's used to write a long message with lots of extra words that are so unnecessary for getting this point across. Like, he's not expecting, maybe somebody's going to show up, but probably no one's going to show up. He'll be back before then. So like, totally unnecessary.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's great. It's also just like, I love injecting magic this early on in the game. That's really special and cool. Just establishing that it is part of the world and everyone's just kind of eye rolly. That's a good reminder that's another reason why Rumor Running Out is going to be nervous, because it's like, oh God, I know Brent is an adventurer, but also like, boy's not the most practical soul that has ever been.
Yeah.
Like,
I imagine this guy as somebody who doesn't really know magic. He just has collected various showy things over his adventures. And so it's not necessarily stuff like he's not a wizard. He's like a artificer thanks to collections. Like, he's a guy who has like, gathered a bunch of little cool trinkets and whatnot.
I mean, open to a little knickknackery. Curious why Brunt washed up in this era, this like end of the brothers, like knows like 2 cantrips and like is good, but I think that's also why people probably like them, like they're you can see people like adopting them in their hearts, being like, oh, Brunt. Like, no, that's a skunk. It's not, no, you want to move back further. Like you want to.
There's definitely skunks in this area, by the way.
Oh God, yeah. I was looking up stuff. Like, did you know that ticks can bite snakes? I didn't know this until today. Why?
No, I didn't know that. Oh, that's awful.
Yeah. Please don't make that happen. But like, I understand if you do. But like, what? It's cold. It's fine. But like,
it'll be fun.
God, nature is a nightmare.
Nature is a nightmare. And with that, I think we should go ahead and wrap things up. So, all right, everybody. This has been Ty from Side Character Quests and Andrea from various books and other illustration projects I will link to in the show notes. Anything you want to say? Anything you want to leave people with?
Well, thank you, Sam, for your infinite wisdom. Do we plug stuff in show notes stuff or no?
I mean, in the post-show chat, I mean, you can. I'll put stuff in the show notes, but you also, if you don't feel like plugging stuff again, you don't have to. This is a much more chill, relaxed little bonus-ode thing. It's not a proper episode.
Okay. Well, I would just like to shout out the practice of doing wishes and stars. Like, do it.
Hell yeah.
Do it. People may not say that they want it, but they definitely need it.
Yep. I was going to end with that thing that we said about nature. What was that?
Nature is a nightmare.
Yeah. Okay, there we go.
That's a kind of a better button on it, yeah.
And until next time, remember, nature is a nightmare.
Thank you to the Joy Drops for the use of Not Drunk as our intro and outro music. Thanks to all of our guests, and thanks to you for listening. You can find us and say hi over at sidecharacterquest.com or by checking out our show notes for more links and information. If you're enjoying the show, drop a rating or review wherever you listen to podcasts, and we'll see you around. Bye!
Do you want to find out more about tabletop role-playing games, but not too sure where to start? Do you want to play a lot of different systems, but don't have time to try them all? Do you just wish someone would summarize what the main game mechanics are so you can follow along more easily? Well, you're in luck. Check out What Am I Rolling? A twice-monthly RPG one-shot podcast, hosted by me, Fiona. I like exploring different RPG systems, rule sets, and the stories they create. I also like talking to game designers about how to run their games. So, come check it out. We would love to have you. The What Am I Rolling podcast, available wherever you listen to podcasts. Part of the One Shot Podcast Network.
This can all just be bloop stuff.
All right, I'm back with another star. I just want to highlight. I fucking Andrea, you said something about like, you know, I said that I just kind of stumbled into a lot of horror in the last few quests because it's, if you're not going to do action adventure, what do you do to make stakes? And you said like, oh yeah, it's either going to be horror or mystery or intergenerational trauma, and that reminded me of a star for this character, which is, I fucking love that you're playing just somebody with like a happy home life. I think that's just so great. It's just, I love it.
Like, yep, no sibling rivalries
Nope.
here. I mean, conflicts, definitely. I mean, given his marks, huge things happening with him. But yeah, he's got a lot to lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I just wanted to pop in and say that real quick. And now I'm going to stop recording it.
Thank you, Ty. No, I appreciate that. I love, you know, like the whole thing with, oh, sorry. Oh no. There's horror in the woods, Ty. You put horror in the woods.
Horror in the woods.
There's horror in the woods.
Hello, my name is Sam Dunawald, and I'm here to tell you about Dice Exploder, a podcast where each week me and a rotating co-host take one tabletop RPG mechanic, just one mechanic, and break it down as deep as we possibly can. If you love thinking about role-playing games and how they work, this is the show for you. Come listen to me talk with Pam Punzelon about how you can use Devil's Bargains from Blades in the Dark in any game you run, Mikey Ham on the simple joys of exploding dice, or my very own dad on what's kept D&D over the past 30 years. It's an interview show, a review show, a design show, and most of all, a show for anyone who loves these games. Come on down and join us. Find Dice Exploder at diceexploder.com or wherever you get your podcasts.